When I wrote a book on Dostoevsky called, subtitled Language, Faith and Fiction some years ago, I was looking at the ways in which you might read Dostoevsky's novels with an eye to how he's thinking about faith and fiction. Not in the sense that faith is something we make up, it's a made-up story, but that what Dostoevsky is doing in his fiction is trying to stage certain kinds of tension, dialectic interaction in a way that doesn't minimize or soften the sharpness of that tension, but takes you into the middle of it and shows you something of how you might live in and with that tension and find the energy to go beyond it. So literature, for me, is always a matter of somehow exploring tensions, by which I don't mean it always has to be literally tense and awkward and challenging, but that you're always listening for the balance of differences. You're listening for the different voices. And I used in that book of Dostoevsky the famous work of Mikhail Bakhtin, the Russian linguistic philosopher, on polyphony. That you're trying to get as many voices in as you can here. Now, all of that takes for granted that what really matters about our human life and getting to the depth of it is something that will take a while to work through, that will require you to be very sensitive about tensions, contradictions, and willing to sit with them until they begin to dissolve. And that has a lot to do with faith, in that faith is precisely not saying, here is the answer which now resolves all these tensions and you can stop worrying about them. But here is a horizon, a perspective, with which you can live, not silenced or baffled or crushed by the tensions, but to think something is feeling its way through here. So, yes, I find, and again have found for decades, the world of literature, the world of imaginative literature, always stimulating and nourishing as I turn back to theology. And I would want in any program of theological education to insert a quite substantial element of engagement with poetry, fiction, and drama.